workshops. So each workshops, we have separated, and then you could see that here the left side. And when we move our mouse over, you could also see that the speakers for that particular workshop and also the coursework for that workshop. So let us jump directly into a workshop here. Okay, right. So here you could see that the workshop title and the date. You have the option to set a date for this particular workshop, like say till the October of 5th. This runs from April to like say the May 4th to May 9th. So like as a student, you are supposed to complete the workshop within this stipulated time. And you could see, if you go below, you could see that text, images, just like what we have seen in the welcome page. There is absolutely no limitations on what kind of content you would like to add, whether it be documents, be it videos or any contents, images, all those things can be added. So when let us go into a coursework directly for that particular week. Okay, here for the day 1, you could see that we can have the option to separate these scores within a week, within day 1, day 2, day 3, and within the day 1, you could see that we have an option to add text and then many documents as much as you wish to. Like it could be PDF, it could be like an Excel spreadsheet, or even open source, like Office documents. Any such documents can be uploaded, and also like any coursework contents can be added. And also one of the other options we have provided is if in case you are contacting an online meeting, like say for example, it could be Zoom meeting, or it could be like any meeting, like the Teams meeting, it could be Google. So we have the option to include that particular link here. When we click on it, we automatically takes the user directly into that. As long as we are signed in, we just need to enter the meeting ID and then get into this Zoom. So here, what I've done is like I've just added. I haven't added any meeting ID login here, but just a join link. But we do have an option to include a full link of a meeting, so that the user would directly taken into that particular meeting without entering anything. So that's how it is on the workshop week, and also you could see that these meetings can be separated for each day. So this way, like one advantage of having this, adding this join meeting link here is you don't really have to send these links to multiple people through emails, because it's sometimes emails may not be reach the recipient, or it might go into the spam mails. So some people might not even look into their emails. So all these issues can happen. So to avoid all those, the students can come directly into this coursework and click on this join meeting, and then start the meeting right away. So you could see that for the workshop week 1 and week 2, we have let me go into the speakers as well. We have the option to add speakers for each day. You could see that we have 3 speakers for the day 1. We have session 2, we have 2 speakers. For the day 2 session 1, we have 1 speaker. So we have the flexibility to add speakers to the system based on these days or sessions. So that would give the students a clarity who are going to take these sessions. So that's how the basic coursework can be handled. And also, like these speakers coursework are not mandatory. If in certain weeks you're not going to enter any speakers or coursework, that is absolutely fine. We can keep it just like without any speakers or coursework. but just a content for that particular workshop, content for that particular week. Okay, so before going, you would like to have any, do you have any queries, or do we have the queries towards the end? Whatever you wish to is perfectly fine with us.
I think, Srijit, let's quickly cover the key aspects, then we'll come to the queries.
Okay, perfect. So let us do one thing. Let us go into the other left side menus that are currently available. So another option, I'm sure this is like one of your requirement, is the Ask the Experts. So here you could see that all these experts are listed one by one here. So one option we haven't brought in here is to like a query, asking a query. So that particular option we haven't yet built into this, but yeah, but we are aware we would like to have like an option for students to consult or ask the experts for their opinions. But yeah, that can be brought in without much effort. But yeah, this is how a basic like experts listing page would look like, where in the filter you have option to filter like say based on the available, like if you'd like to expertise, what kind of expertise you want to do, filter, or even a country. So all those can be, we have the option at the left side. That is for the experts. So I'm just quickly running through because we are still a bit of short in time. And next link at the left side is projects, where you could see that there are, like whenever we comes to into like a materials, there could be multiple materials like white papers, okay, or it could be videos, general videos, or it could be documents, images. All those things can be added directly in this section. Like say, for example, a course material. Let's not worry about what title that here, but it's mainly like any white papers or any reports. All these things can be added here. So when we click on it, you could see that, yeah, you could see that a text and a title, and then same way you would be able to add any content, let it be images, documents, or videos. All those things can be added here. And same goes to videos. You could add any number of videos.
Podcast.
Right, documents.
Yeah, toolkits,
Images,
all those can be added.
yeah. Yes, all those things can be added here. So, and another option, at the left side you could see is the webinars. Okay, so here these are the webinars that we have added as a or the dummy webinars. Obviously, you could see that the dates, the title, and when we click on it, you could go into the webinar page, and also you could either you can click the join button here, or you can go back and directly from the listing page you would be able to join the webinar. So these options are pretty much available, and this listing also, it based on the preference. We can like even like segregate based on the old webinars or upcoming webinars. So these things can be segregated based on the preferences. And another section here on the discussion forum. This is basically a general discussion forums where the students would be able to discuss between them or the experts, a certain things, and it can be based on a specific course as well. So let us go into a discussion board. Right. So you could see that we have just added few comments, it's all dummy, but you could see that the discussion board and the title, the the comments, could you have an option to reply or thumbs up, thumbs down, or even add a new comment. And also you would be able to upload any files, like say, for example, if you would like to add any documents, you would be able to add a document and along with these comments. So these are all part of the discussion boards. Okay, so this is basically, in short, it's a very quickly, I know, but still, this is basically as a user how the interface would look like. So let me quickly go through log out and then log in as a manager who.
So Shriyad, while you log in as a manager or administrator, I just want to add a few things.
Yeah,
so what do you see from the user perspective? The way we have structured this learning management system is to keep it extremely simple with a very intuitive UI, so that people with or without knowledge of other systems or technical knowledge can easily come into the site, log in, go through various courses, or they want to interact with us, the experts, or they want to check out the webinars or participate in discussions forum. All these are facilitated with ease. So navigation, very important. And we also designed this so that it is responsive, which means this platform can be viewed or launched on desktops, mobile devices, or tablets very seamlessly. Right. So we most of our UI, which is what you see here, is based on responsive design, best practices, and a lot of human-centered design. So what you see is very uncluttered. Of course, a lot of these nomenclature, if you want, instead of courses, you want to call it something that can change. It's very easy. You can also add, for example, in projects, you have, let's say, documents. You can have documents as per region or country-wise or thematic area-wise, or any of those options are possible. Okay? Those are all part of customization or configuration. As we get into the thick of the project, we easily do that. Right? And the other important aspect is that one of the key requirements, we read in the TOR was you wanted also equally easy and intuitive administration or manager dashboard. Okay. So what you're going to see, where Srijit is going to log in as an administrator or a manager, will look exactly a similar feel as that of a user, so that there is no differentiation for a person, and it makes the life of the administrator extremely easy to maneuver the platform with all the security aspects, all the of course all the documents and the content can be tagged so that it's easy to search and filter. You can publish this content based on ratings or top viewed content, or any of those options are possible. And the search itself is very intuitive. Several filters are given, and because we have a good tagging facility, it allows you to search and bring precise content very quickly. Srijit, you can log into the...
Yeah, thanks, Prashant. It looks like you are still having issues with the screen. Like I've logged in as a manager right now. So here, what you see is as a manager, I've logged in, and it's, as Prashant mentioned, this is absolutely the same screen what you see as a student, but you could see that differences here. You can see that a button like a pencil or pen kind of a button, where as a manager I would be able to just click edit and change these contents directly from here. And all these contents within that particular like in a page can be added directly from here, including like the members, a date format, all these files, the images, like the what's the documents, whatever it is, can be added directly, edited directly from here. So what you're currently seeing is a listing of all these available courses. So like if you would like to add a new course, just need a matter of clicking on the manage course. There you could see that the listing of these courses. You could easily add a course by clicking Add Course. So where you would be able to enter the title, all these details. But you would see that as like a red star, where you could see that all these marked in this red star are mandatory. But yeah, the rest of these contents can be. It depends. If you would like to, you can add it, or else we can keep it blank. But yeah, all these, like say for example, this short description. If you would like to, you can do it, and then the course image, this course content, with the title or the content, and if you would like to add another course content, you can just matter of just click another course content. You would be able to add one more. So, or else if you would like to remove a particular course content, you can just click remove. Then again, directly you can include the members, the students, here directly from here. So say, for example, if you say, yeah, just a matter of typing the type ahead, you would be able to select all these existing members directly into that. And certain places, this option we have brought in because since we work with different continents, the date format might be different in different places. So we have the option for each course. We have an option to have a separate date formats if that, in case that is required. So these are in short how to
Shriyat, sorry to interrupt you. Is there also a possibility for different languages? Because I don't know whether that's a requirement.
That's right. That's right. Languages are there. It depends like whatever languages you would like to. But as a basic option, we have. Let me do one thing. Let me just edit one of the courses. I've gone into this course, right? Could see the translate option here. We haven't enabled it, but the moment we enable, you would be able to see the operations. Here I would be able to edit the English translated content, English content. That is, English is the base language we have said, but we have added French, Russian, and Spanish, but we haven't enabled it yet. But the moment we enable, you would see an edit button under each section here, and it's a matter of just clicking, and you would be able to enter the translated contents directly into the site. So that one way, the best thing is you don't have to really worry about Google Translate or any other translate, which may not provide us actual translated meaning, like when we do it online. But instead, it's always better to translate it manually and add it to the website. But it's as easy as adding just few contents here. So let's go back. Right. So here you could see that there are multiple options. If you would like to delete a course, you can delete it, or if you would like, for the time being, you would like to unpublish it, a course, and you don't want other people to see it yet, but still you would like to complete a course before you publish it. So you have an option to unpublish and then complete the edit and then publish it back. So as a manager, you would be able to do that directly from here. And also you could see that like a small settings button where you would be able to add speakers, the surveys. You would be able to have a survey. Once a user completes a course, a user would be able to like say like have a survey about that particular course. How the survey looked like. Like how much you rate. So all those things can be handled here. And also the survey results you would be able to see here. Not sure whether any surveys are part of it, but yeah, we haven't added any surveys, but the moment we have surveys, you would be able to, based on workshops, we can even filter it. Okay, so that's
Shriyat, do we also have any notification feature for people who have logged in? If there is any new course, is there any notification which comes to them or something like that? Small things, but
no, we haven't added that yet. But yeah, but that is something we have created for a couple of like previous sites we had added, but that probably based on the requirements we want. But yeah, that is possible. Yeah. That is quite possible if required.
Sure.
And same goes to the ask the experts. You could see that the add expert or edit. If you would like to edit an expert directly, you can do that from here. Like say, it's just a matter of editing this content and then clicking save, or it goes back directly. The changes are reflected directly. So let's quickly go into this projects. Same goes to these projects here. Again, just a matter of clicking and then editing. So the good thing is you don't have to really worry about where to find an option to edit these contents. As long as you have the manager permission, you would be able to edit it. So let's go into a webinar. So you have an option as a manager, you have an option to create a new webinar, the title, webinar type, the body, the start date, end date, and then this join link, whatever. It doesn't matter what kind of the webinar or the link you are going. It's a matter of just entering the link in this stipulated format. As long as we have this HTTP, all this usual URL link is available, it would work perfectly well. And yeah, here also, like you can click on edit. You can see that the webinar type, body, all these contents can be.
Excuse me, I just wanted to share that we're officially 6 minutes over, but I'm watching the participants side, and I don't see. So we were having 3 interviews back to back for transparency, and I don't see the next person has joined us yet. So we can go over until that person joins.
Okay, sure. So Shriyat, I think let me just chip in. Okay, so it's pretty much standard. Okay, whatever features you're seeing, whether it is for courses, ask the experts, projects, webinars, all these are similar dashboard functionalities for administrators or managers. So apart from this, I already spoke about being responsive. So most of our platforms work well in low bandwidth environments and also work well on tablets, mobiles, and desktops. The other important aspect is that we also take care of security, because that's a very important factor for all the learning management platforms to manage, especially for closed community platforms. So the security aspects, of course, which are pretty standard and updated. We have an independent group within the organization who looks at all the evolving threats and all the updates to security and are done this platform. And we take care of a lot of aspects within security. And since we are also maintaining this platform, there'll be regular patches and updates to ensure that the platform is highly secure and the information, all the sensitive information of users and the experts and the managers are kept confidential, right? And the other beauty of it is it's a very highly scalable and flexible platform. It is built and orchestrated using open architectures, but it seamlessly works on, for example, you want to integrate this with your websites or any other applications, you can do that. So there are a lot of possibilities, with the platform we are showing you. So highly flexible and scalable. And you can also add reports. For example, if you want to generate some reports, you can also add those kind of functionalities. But what we are trying to show you is to stick on to your
next person, and I think we have maybe time for 1 question or 2 if people in the room have a question. Yeah, I mean, we're really sorry, but as we have limited time to meet with our colleagues from all over the world, we needed to make these sessions short. And to be fair, now we're over half an hour, even considering we started a little late. So does anybody in the room have questions? I see Teiko, please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you very much, the guys from Assist. I wanted to know, knowing that the majority of the people that will be utilizing this will be mostly from South America and Africa, will we have an option to have a suppository or repository whereby, not a suppository, a repository whereby we will have the videos and podcast and recorded material from other courses for self-paced participation. Thank you.
Yes, so the platform gives you options to kind of have repositories for documents which can be publications, best practices, whatever, videos, podcast, images, animations, all that. So that whatever it has a backend repository where you can store all this and manage all this and tag this, right? So all these documents or images or videos can be also tagged, so it's easy for retrieving and search, right? Yes. So the answer is yes.
And I see Edna with another question.
Yes, just a quick one. I saw the webinar part of it, so I'm just interested to know about interpretation elements. Are these webinars gonna help us in terms of interpretation? Are these webinars gonna have that aspect?
So when you say interpretation, can you please explain what exactly you're trying to?
For example, if you're conducting a webinar where you have people who are speaking English and French, so is that aspect embedded in there where people who are speaking French can talk to can be talked to within French, and those speaking English can have the English element?
See, the webinar functionality, which is integrated into a platform. So if you can use any of the platforms, so you can use Google Meet, you can use Zoom, you can use MS Teams, and integrate that to our platform. But the platform itself is not having anything to do with the webinars, right? We integrate it, and just like we're having this meeting, somebody who clicks on join and gives the ID, it takes you to Zoom or MS Teams, and then you conduct the webinar, right? But the platform itself is multilingual, so any of the users who are from Spanish or French or other Portuguese speaking languages, they can we can have content tailored for them, right? That's what Srijit was showing in the translate option, right? But webinars are typically integrated with third-party tools because several customers have several options. When we work with even AUDA-NEPAD, it's I think Zoom. Initially it was WebEx, then they wanted to move to Zoom. So I mean, several options are available. You can have multiple options as well. So you can choose, and the platform gives you options to integrate it to the respective tool, right? That's how it works.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is fantastic. So I will also let our third presenter know that we're running a little bit behind so that Savio can have half an hour with us as well. So I'm not sure we have any time for more questions, but if there is another question that people have, I think you should just ask it now.
You can also email us, Amanda, if you have any further questions, please feel free to email. We'll be more than happy to send you replies or more information or clarifications.
And I think that we can probably check your website to see other work you've done. Would you guys be able to put your website link into the chat box for us, just for everyone to reference later?
Website has very limited information because we don't disclose the information about what we do for World Bank or any other entities. It's more generic customer. But if you want specific info, we can send that by a document because a lot of projects we do are sensitive. So we don't actually use that information.
Yeah, I was just asking so we could get familiar with different kinds of projects you might offer.
Yeah.
So yeah,
sure.
We don't need to see the details or anything
one of the thing I can quickly want to show you is Srijit, can you just take our Pancam knowledge?
I think that we should probably just get what you send us by email. So
okay, sure.
Yeah, because it's already 15 minutes past.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Past. Okay. Sure, no problem. We'll send you that.
Yeah, and we can forward to me, Samuel, whoever's email you have, or you can respond to everybody who's on the calendar invitation. That will be fine.
Sure, man.
But if anything, you can just forward it to any one of us, and we'll get it to the rest of the group.
Sure, we'll send it to you by Monday.
All right, so I think maybe the whole room gives you a large thank you for your time. Thank you for the really great demo and preparing things for us and sharing it with us. Any other remarks from folks in the room? Okay, thank you.
From Panaps, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. So, we did not expect so many participants, but it's good to see the more the merrier. So I'm happy that I could present this.
Yes, we had a lot of interest. We like to build consensus, so we invited everybody basically who wanted to see it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
So I showed designs which can be aligned with the Land Accelerator. That's why the UIs were customized. So, but thank you so much, and have a great weekend to all of you.
Yes, great weekend. Okay, bye now.
Bye.
Now,
bye, Amanda. Bye.
In the interest of time, I think that we can introduce Savio, and I wanted to share with everybody as well that Savio actually did come on time, but he politely removed himself from the meeting. So I didn't realize that. So thank you, Savio. And we can do a really quick intro. I'll just intro everybody from WRI, and then AUDA-NEPAD can introduce themselves. There are two partners here, Savio, WRI and AUDA-NEPAD, who are working together on this project. And on our team, you've got myself. I manage the Land Accelerator programs in the three different geographies we work. Samuel Kabiru is the manager of Land Accelerator Africa. He's based in Kenya. Maria Franco Chouar, maybe I say it wrong, so I really need to learn. Sorry, Maria, is a colleague of ours who works primarily on our initiative 20 by 20, which is our engagement with Latin American countries to do land restoration. And she's also been really active with the Latin America Land Accelerator programs we're having there. Will Anderson is our communications manager for not only the Land Accelerator, but a ton of other programs we have at the Global Restoration Initiative at WRI, which is our larger team. And so Maria, Will, and myself are generally based in Washington, D.C. And now I will pass it to Teko, Zodidi, and Edna for their intros, and they're from AUDA-NEPAD.
Hi, Savio. My name is Teko Nhlapo. I'm the Communications and Advocacy Officer for the AFR 100 here at the African Union Development Agency, NEPAD. And thank you for your time. Zodidi, Edna.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Savio. My name is Edna Kalima. I work on a Gender Climate Change Agriculture Support Program as a program officer. I also am part of the AFR 100 team. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Edna, if you're gonna introduce yourself, let us know because you might be muted.
Hello, I did. Was I muted?
Yeah, so just say it all again. You get a second chance.
Sorry about that. Okay, my name is Edna Kalima, and I work with AUDA-NEPAD on the program called Gender Climate Change Agriculture Support Program as a program officer, and I also support the AFR 100 team. Thank you.
Fantastic. Now, Savio, perhaps we can hear your introduction about you, how your role in the company is, and then we can roll into if you'd like a demo. The presentation can take whatever form you think is useful to show us what you might have in mind. It can also be more conversational as well. So we can just follow your lead a little bit. But we'll take the full half hour with you, and so let's get to know you. Yeah, looking forward to your introduction.
Thank you very much, Amanda, and it's my pleasure to be here and to have you guys listen to me and hear what I have to offer. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we can.
Okay, so thank you very much. So my name is, I'm now in the second slide. So my name is Savio Ambugu. I'm a software engineer by profession. I'm a tech consultant with UN and mainly UNECA, which is United Nations Economic Agency for Africa. I am the founder of Mount Kenya Hub, and Mount Kenya Hub is basically an innovation hub located in Kenya, focusing on technical skills, startups, incubation, and acceleration. I'm also the Secretary General of Countrywide Innovation Hubs, which basically is an association of innovation hubs in Kenya. Right now, we have over 30 innovations hubs in different sectors. And I'm also the co-founder of Mkulima Bora. Mkulima Bora is basically an agribusiness platform that is connecting local farmers with the market. And as per now, we have over 10,000 farmers. At Ubongo Africa, I'm the CEO of Ubongo Africa. So thank you, Amanda. So that's my brief introduction, and we don't have enough time. Do I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead. Fine.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. So Ubongo Africa is an ICT firm which was registered back in 2015. So right now we are doing 6 or 7 years, and it holds 2 different companies or 2 different branches. One is Mount Kenya Hub, as I explained. It's basically an innovation hub. I'll not go deep into that, and you can check the website. And then we also have a data company called Ubongo Data Experts, where we specialize on data technologies, things like bots, data analytics, data mining, and such things. So Ubongo Africa now is on the ICT side of it. At Ubongo Africa now, we specialize on different technologies, and as you can see, mobile apps, USSD, I mean like star 144 hash or star 544 hash, web applications, desktop applications are the like what we have with QuickBooks, that's a desktop applications. We have short codes, NFC cards, like the smart cards, and also now we are also doing the biometric solutions. I'm trying to go fast. I know you don't have enough time. So we have footprints in different countries in Africa, and as you can see, we have South Africa. South Africa, we have an e-commerce platform. We have Southern Sudan, where we did the we have the agriculture. It's basically an agriculture platform in Southern Sudan. In Ethiopia, we are doing and we have actually completed the Ministry of Education system, which basically, in a nutshell, in one way or another, is something that you can relate to it, because it also has an e-learning platform and an e-learning capability in the same platform, although now it's for the whole country. In DRC, we have various projects like the Hoja Taxi, which is basically it is a taxi aiding app. In Rwanda, Malawi, we have implemented now Mkulima Bora in those countries. In Kenya, we have 1,000,001 projects that maybe I'll talk as we go ahead. So some of the major projects implemented, I talk about major projects. We have a lot of projects, but most of them are small projects, and in a nutshell, like the Huduma Halisi citizen feedback is basically it's a project basically by the government of Kenya and United Nations, and it's basically an innovations to make sure that the citizen can give honest feedback anonymously, and to make sure that the public sector is you can be able to rate the public sector. We also have another project for the COVID-19 Afrexim Bank, which also was a project by United Nations and Afrexim Bank, which is Africa Import-Export Bank Africa Import-Export Bank. It's basically a B2B platform, and by this I mean like what we have with Alibaba. It's basically an Alibaba, but it was mainly for the COVID-19. We have a Ministry of Education, as I said, in Ethiopia. We also have another Africa Resource Tracking Accountability system. The United Nations is trying to make sure that there is honest and transparency way of tracking funds. So we are the ones who developed, and we are still upgrading the Africa Resource Tracking Platform. We are implementing in 11 different countries to make sure that even anybody in various different countries can be able to track the funds that they have been allocated and also can give feedback and rate. We also have e-learning platforms, and by this, there is one organization for women who are using the platform. I'll show a snapshot of the same. We also have some various, I won't go through all of them, but we also have the app here, the M-Nauli cashless system, which is basically a public service system to by the government and Cooperative Bank of Kenya. So it's basically for, you don't need to pay cash, you can pay via cash, via card. The other one is a polling management system. It's for the elections. I'll go fast. I'm trying to go very fast. We'll go to, there is the Startup Africa Manager, which basically is an end-to-end platform to conduct innovation challenges. Right now, we have been able to utilize it on different sectors. We did it during the the Great COVID-19 Kenya Hackathon, whereby we had over 360 innovations, different innovations, and we were able to conduct the whole process. It was used again by Konza, which basically is a technopolis in Kenya by the government, and also some county governments in Kenya, like Makueni. We have the case management system for all Pajeta Conservancy, Concern Worldwide, in Malawi, Hoja Taxi. So I'm just going to go forward, but mainly we have a lot of different projects. So the clientele is a lot. Yeah, the UN, the government of Kenya, government of Ethiopia, Afrexim Bank of Africa, the county government of Kiambu. We have Hoja Group in DRC, Adcock Ingram in Kenya and South Africa. It's basically, it's a lot of people here. Yeah, just go ahead because of the time. Apart from the projects that we have undertaken, we also have some of the products that are under the Ubongo group. And we have the Ubongo School. Ubongo School was during the 2020, last year, we were among the top 50 best e-learning and edutech technologies by EU. Yeah, by EU. So we were among the top 50. We also have various different systems, like the microfinance, the poll analysis. There are a lot. You have the Saada app, which is basically is a mental health application to make sure that it connects people who are depressed with the counselors anonymously. So I'll not go deep into what we have here. I'll share them later on if somebody needs to cross-check. And the major award is basically the top 50 selected education innovations in Africa. On the right is a certificate, which is last year's certificate. The IPA Innovations Award, we were fourth in Africa with Mkulima Bora, which was basically an Africa competition. So we were the fourth in Africa back in 2015. Yeah. Then in 2014, we were among the top 200 innovators in Kenya. Let's now, I'll just now go to the Land Accelerator intranet portal. We have the mock-up. We also have something that we had already done. I will call it an MVP, a most viable product of the same. So according to me and according to us, what we would propose is the solution should have a web portal and Android portal. Okay, it's not mainly an Android portal, but also it's a mobile app. This is because we also have a lot of youth in Kenya and Africa who are very used into using phones. So you are not limited to having a computer for you to access such things. So we would propose that we have a web portal that that people can still log in, update data, and also have a mobile application for the same. And in Africa now, internet is growing very fast. But again, the internet that is growing and the connectivity that is growing on the phones. Yeah. So it's very easy for people to access such platforms. And as much as we can be able to optimize the web portal to be able to be accessed on the phone, but it's very easy there are some of the capabilities that mobile apps come with that web portals might not handle. So these are some of the tentative modules that we were thinking, and we would propose that they be on the system. One is the members. The members are the people that you already have. The system should be able to onboard members, yeah, and have a whole wizard for with variables, the name, the category. If it's me, you need to know my name, my email, my phone number, the category that I am doing, the innovation all business that I'm handling, my interests. Yeah. So these are some of we also have the projects. The projects, I mean, you need to understand that to know which project does like MISAV you have. Yeah. If it's Mkulima Bora, what is Mkulima Bora? What is the scale? What level is it? All stage is it? What are they really looking at Land Accelerator, and how can Land Accelerator help them? So we need to have all this data. I'll show you later on how it is. We also need to have a resource center. We call it a resource center. I don't like calling it, they're not, basically a resource center is whereby you can access all the videos, all the documentation, all the, anything that learning materials, any learning materials. So we call it the resource centers because you can be able to have a partner uploading a certain content. You can have the same members generating and coming up with their own content and uploading it into the same resource center. As much as now we can now implement the approval levels whereby anybody who is uploading the content needs to be now verified and it's uploaded. We have groups. Groups is whereby you can create groups in regards to categories or regions or even things that are happening at each given time. And now people can opt in or check in into these groups, and people by mean members, and be able to discuss and maybe brainstorm or interact. The other thing is the shop. We have some entrepreneurs who are doing like now the agribusiness. People in agribusiness, you might find like me, I'm a coffee farmer, or maybe I'm a dairy farmer, or maybe I'm doing bananas. I need to come up with my shop. And this shop, what I mean is, for the members, they don't need to go out there and create physical shops. They can come to the Land Accelerator portal and create a virtual shop. Yeah, and now under that shop, they'll be able to add their products there. And their products, let's say if I'm doing bananas.
Excuse me, Savio, one second. Two comments. One, Nick and Shireen, would you guys be able to come back in 15 minutes? I'm sorry, classic started late, took a little longer, blah, blah, blah. Would 9:15 work?
Yeah, we can do that. Sure. I do have at 9:30, but we can do our best to cover as much as we can. Okay, thanks, Amanda.
Okay. Thanks.
So, okay.
And so then, Savio, let me see. I think that I guess knowing that we're running up against their time as well, I'm really sorry. We would probably really want to see some
mock-ups,
examples of relevant projects, perhaps. So even if you pull up websites or screenshots or PowerPoint presentations, anything that you might have on mind from other projects that you thought would be relevant to having maybe the same sort of functionality. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me just keep down there, then I'll show you the websites. Now, these are some of the mock-ups that we had. Amanda, can you see the screen?
Yes. Mm-hmm. If you want, you can put in a presentation mode for everybody to see better.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
perfect.
That? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is basically some of the mock-ups that we have done. The first mock-up is basically a system that we have already developed. It's basically an MVP that I'll show you. So I'll not go through it, but this is how it appears, and it can be upgraded. You can have more graphs and more tables, more graphs, and things like that. But again, this is what we are talking about. We need to have an interactive app that can be able to be emulated on different platforms, an Android app, web app, and tablet. And this is the expert profile. After if for example a member logs in, you should be able to see the profile of the expert. He can chat the expert. He can video call the expert. He can even schedule a meeting with the expert. So we have so we have implemented, and we do implement Google translators so that it's very easy. Like now what we have, and I'll show you, we have over 52 different languages. So anybody can log into the system and translate the whole system depending on the language he wants. So I'll show you that practically. And the timeline. So this is a timeline. For example, you're able to see the notification, what happened, if there's a new resource that has been added, if somebody has emailed you, somebody has texted you. So these are some of the notifications and snapshot that you can be able to see. And the resource center, we'll have report field, we'll have different filters. You can filter the resource by video, by category, by date, by somebody who uploaded it. So so this is how it is. And this is the chart. You're able to chat with the mentor. You can chat with the mentor or an expert. Yeah, I'm sure now maybe later on you'll be able to onboard mentors. So you can go to chat and interact with the mentor. And now through this chat, we'll be able to later on be able to build on bots that can even raise flags. Like for example, if somebody is talking about the market, it can be able to pull that or flag that and see, and maybe later on as data grows, you can be able to link them with the market. So these are some of the mock-ups of the app, the login, what the app can contain. So the home, courses, experts, favorite. Somebody can favorite various categories and various resources, so that if somebody adds a resource, he or she should be able to access it. And yeah, basically, yeah, like that. You'll be able to see all the experts on my left, and if you click them, you'll be able to see their profile and maybe chat or video call that. So I'll not go to the additional features, but in the additional features is whereby we can be able to help you onboard people, like what we have been doing on Mkulima Bora. You know, a lot of people ask questions, and as data grows, if it takes time for people to respond, if it takes time for people to respond, they'll lose hope. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share now my browser and show you some of the projects. So maybe you don't have enough time, but if you go on YouTube, you'll be able to access our LMS, which basically is a learning management system. I'll paste the link later. I'll paste the link on the chat so that you can access it and view how it is. It's a full presentation of the learning management system. It's a e-learning management system. So, and I've already logged into one of it, and have logged in as a student. And so these are basically, it's not mainly, the Land Accelerator portal is not basically a school management system, but again, it's basically an e-learning platform with various additional features. So I'll show you different systems with those features. And as you can see, what I have here is basically a student account, and as well it can be your members account. Here, all your members will have their own dashboards, and like for example, what I have here, a student can be able to access syllabus and such things. Yeah, if I see my syllabus, it's the same thing as having the content themselves. Sorry. So the systems we do, they have a timeline. If you stay for long before logging in, it actually logs out. So, and as you can see, like for example, I want to access my syllabus. I can choose all the subjects or anything. I just choose a random class, which can be different categories and different languages. Yeah, so like these are totally different documents that have been uploaded, and the students can also upload an assignment. In the same manner, your members can also upload their own content. Yeah, they can come up with their own simple content and maybe even later on share them with their other different members. But again, those things need to be approved. So like, for example, I might want to view what is this, yeah, and this is basically somebody who had written different things here. So what I mean is the portal can be able to be, it's interactive on both ends. The students can be able to upload, all your members can upload their own content, videos and such things. And again, we'll implement different ways of approval so that you also have, you can manage the quality of content that you have. So on the next one, this is what we had done, or as an MVP. You can log in. This is basically a most viable product. It's not the ideal, it's not complete, but basically it actually shows all the things that you might need. We have the members, as I said. I will not add the member, but it does because of the time we have. So this is what I had. So, and these are the variables, they can change. Somebody can upload a photo, upload different data, but I will not add it. I'll just click view. And okay, so like what you are seeing here is we have different access levels. So like what I'm being done, the access level I am in, I cannot be able to show to view the profile. I'll show you how that is done. And this helps in, like, for example, if you have different regions, you can be able to have different managers in those different regions, and also they have different access levels. So like one can be able to approve, the other one cannot approve. One can view the project that you have, cannot delete, can edit. So these are basically different things that we had done. Even their projects, you can be able to add different projects and their definition here. And you can be able to view various different projects here. Yeah.
Savio, I wonder if we could just have a break and see if anyone on the line has any questions.
Okay.
If not, then I suppose you can continue to show us a few things. Yes.
Yeah. So this is basically what we can build on. We'll have the resource center. You can add, and what we do, we always have report filters. Yeah. If I come to the report, various report. Okay, now since this is not done, you are able to populate. I'll show you in a different system. You are able to populate various different reports and generate graphs for them. I'll show you in another different system up here. So, but basically, this is basically an MVP that we developed. And what I was talking about is the access level, is whereby it's the access control. You can have an access level for, let's say, a marketing manager, a program manager, content manager, and then configure that, give him different roles. Yeah, like for example, what I have here as a content manager, if I click, and you don't need to call the developer to do that for you. Like what we have here, it's all the modules in the system. So the super admin can allocate different access levels. Like for example, I can say, I want anybody under this access level, the content manager, to be able to view, to access the module, which is on the left here, projects. He can add a new project, he can edit, but he cannot delete. He can access all different projects. So this is basically a wizard to make sure that you can create 1,000,001 different access levels. Yeah, and by region, by speciality. So we have the webinars, the webinar platforms. So the webinar platform, what it happens right here, right now, you can just add different webinar platforms. But now what happens if you have a premium account, let's say for Zoom, we'll be able to integrate directly so that even when people or members are attending various webinars, they are not taken like or even Teams. I don't need to leave your platform to go to Teams. It's actually launched within the same system. And this helps in maybe if there is a chat that we have a chat box whereby people are chatting, it will be stored into your platform, not on another different third-party system. So it's very easy to integrate, but as per now, you can just add. If you have the premium level for webinars, you'll be able to do that. And when you have this, you'll be able to come and create different webinars and create their own links. And that now will depend on various different platforms. So these are basically things that it's basically an MVP. It will take time for it to grow. but once it's done, it will be good. So on the other one, this is basically what we have been doing, the e-learning platform for Democracy Trust Fund. This is the landing page. These are their colors. These are the courses that they offer. They just offer 2 different trainings. So once you're landing, it's public. You can check and log in. It's not free. You have to pay for various subjects. But again, sorry. So I'll just go to my account, the one that I as a member, which is basically like I'm a member of Land Accelerator. So if, for example, you register on the first Democracy Trust Fund, you'll be able to see all the courses, modules, and such things. But again, this is not a free platform. They charge, okay, I have to log in. They charge women. It's basically a women platform. They charge women. If, for example, want to access this Running to Win, Women's Pathway to a Successful Campaign. So it has different modules and different levels. And as you can see, this is the book. This is basically the book. And then it has different modules, module 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see module 1 is free, but the other ones you need to be charged. So if also Land Accelerator needs to implement...
Savio, we need to end right on time. Sorry, because the other folks only will have 15 minutes with us. So if anyone has any questions, please ask Savio now.
Okay.
And hi, Allison. Okay, sorry, Savio, to make it short, but I think you understand if you only had 15 minutes, you would also feel the same way. So if you want, if you have some links that you'd like to send us in follow-up, you can do it. If you want, you can send it to me. You have my email address. But we're going to have to say farewell so we can chat with our next folks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, sorry for the short form of presentation, but we have limited time with our folks in Africa, and we also had folks joining us from India today. So thank you. Okay, have a good day. Hi, Nick.
Bye.
Hi, Allison, and I see Sharon also joined. I just clicked admit. So thank you guys so much. In the interest of time, I'll just introduce everybody on the call really fast, just by names, where they're located. We get the WRI team, which you will have myself in DC. Samuel is the manager of the Land Accelerator Africa. He's based in Kenya. Maria does a lot of our work, a lot of work with the restoration team in Latin America through the 20 by 20 initiative, which is our landscape restoration initiative in Latin America. But she's also been really, really active on private sector development as well with the Land Accelerator in Latin America, as well as other projects that she's working on. Will Anderson is our communications guru, and the 3 of us are based in DC. Then moving on to AUDA-NEPAD team, we have Teiko, who I believe, actually you guys should introduce yourselves, but just do it quickly because I'll get your titles really wrong. Oh, and I think Teiko's the only one left with us from AUDA-NEPAD, so thanks for sticking it out, Teiko. Would you like to introduce yourself? Looks like he's unmuted. No, he hasn't. Yeah, I don't know if he's unmuting. So maybe you guys can introduce yourselves to us, and we can hear really quickly, of course, before your next call, what we can see from you all. Sorry about that.
Amanda, yeah, I'm still here. This is Edna Karima, working with AUDA-NEPAD on the Gender Climate Change Agriculture Support Program, and I also support the AFR 100 team. Thank you.
Edna, sorry, I didn't see you on the line. Sorry about that.
Right. Should we go ahead, Amanda?
I think you should, sure.
Okay. All right, great. And I was just going to say, like, I may have to drop off a bit early, but I'll also make sure Sharon and Allison may be able to stay on a bit longer. But really wonderful to be chatting with you all today. I'm Nick, founder and CEO of Tech Change, and Allison and Sharon, do you want to both say hi? And I'm thinking I'm happy to bring up some kind of general high-level kind of Tech Change slides that I can share with the group, and then maybe turn it over to Allison and Sharon for a bit more depth, if that works for everyone. Do you want to say hi quickly? Yeah.
Yes. Great. Hi, Amanda and team. I'm Sharon. I'm VP of Business Development at Tech Change, and it's really nice to meet all of you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Allison Prowl, the Director of the Education Department at Tech Change.
All right. So, Amanda, am I able to screen share?
You should be able to, yeah. It's
Okay,
just
let's
Teams,
do it. Let's try it.
so it's always a little different than Zoom.
Oh, wrong one. Hold on one sec. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. Can you see my deck okay? Can folks see it? Yes?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. So what I'll do, Amanda and team, I'll just give a quick overview of Tech Change as an organization, and then we'll turn it over to Allison and Sharon for some more specifics on this particular proposal and the potential work with you all. But just to say that Tech Change is a 10-year-old learning and training firm based here in Washington, D.C. We've built 800 or so workshops and courses in that time with over 300 partner orgs, including some existing courses with WRI, which I'm happy to talk about on this call. But really the model for you all to kind of keep in mind as we present here is that we're not just a learning management system provider. We really do have what we consider to be an end-to-end service. So we're there to help you with the strategy, the planning, the design, all the materials and support, as well as the facilitation, the production. I know a big part of this particular project is about kind of connecting these accelerator programs and getting folks to network and engage with each other. And to that end, we have actually a lot of really fascinating tools and experiences we've built, but also others that we partner with. And happy to share some of those today if you're curious. We're big on data and analytics. I know WRI spends a lot of time reporting back to their funders and partners about what's working and who's engaging. And so that's also a big part of our model, is that analytics and tracking. And then I think the last piece here, just that we are ourselves, even though we build software, we're educators at heart. I'm a professor at Columbia, and a number of others on staff are educators, in addition to folks who really know the technology well. Any questions there? Just to add to that, we have all kinds of partners from all kinds of sectors, including WRI, as I mentioned. We've built a course with you all. I believe it was a Compact of Mayors, a course for addressing climate change at the local level, and had that translated into a number of languages. I can share some links to that if you're curious. That was an entirely self-paced course, but was really a wonderful project to get to work on with you all. But as you can see here, we do a lot of training for USAID, World Bank, UNICEF. We do a lot of training on the African continent, and so have hosted large events for up to 12,000 people. We did the Africa Green Revolution Forum, and are hopefully doing it again this year. But a number of events and trainings and partnerships across the continent on both agriculture, health, but also some climate topics as well. So I don't know, Allison, if we want to get into this now, but happy to kind of hand the buck over to you if that's easier, but can also run through this quickly and talk about our process if that's useful for folks on the call. What do we think?
Sure. No, I'm happy to talk through a bit of this as well. Knowing that, this might be a little bit more of a specific instance that's replicated throughout what could be your platform experience, right? So generally, right, as we approach courses and really just as we approach partnerships in general, it often starts with a project kickoff and a project charter, just so that we can get a little bit more into the nitty gritty and knowing, what your needs are. Then would come, course planning if we're helping to build a course, and storyboarding. However, a little bit more so with this particular instance, right? We might engage in an ideation workshop to then kind of create a roadmap for the platform. And I'm also happy to show a couple examples of how that serves some past and previous and current partners as well. And then from there, really working and empowering those at WRI to take ownership over the platform to the extent that they're comfortable, right? We have a user-friendly interface. people don't have to be, you know, tech savants and coders in order to be able to add their content. And so it's been really empowering for a lot of our partners to be able to kind of go through that onboarding experience, take what they've discussed in that kind of like ideation planning workshop and really run forward with their vision to then be able to create courses, which of course, you know, as you can see here, we have resources and whatnot to help with that and host workshops and webinars and the like as well.
So maybe I'll stop sharing here and pause for any questions that the team has, Amanda and others, and then can kind of talk more specifically about, you know, our vision and you know, questions you have specifically about our proposal. I think happy to field those as well.
Guys, I think that we're a little bit new into this whole sector, and so we were, you know, listening to different proposals and just trying to think of what's best. Oh, I see Teiko, thanks. Yeah, please go ahead with your question.
Thank you very much. My name is Teiko Nhlapo. I'm the Communications and Advocacy Officer for the AFR 100 partnership at the African Union Development Agency, NEPAD. So my question is, I really love the past slide that you had as to how you will not only be developing the platform, but helping more like an A to Z of what it is that we're looking for. So I wanted to know, have you done similar assignments similarly to this? And if so, do you have anywhere where we can get an example and see but mostly the visual appearance and how one will be able to work with them? And also, does any of your features cater for the dual languages? Because for the sake of the African audience, we will need to have the French included, and for the South American audience, we're going to have Spanish. So the platform would definitely have to at least be in 3 languages. Thank you.
Yeah, to your last question, we do it all. We've done courses in up to 8 languages, and we can share, you know, how we do that. And we have a varied and multifaceted approach for managing translation and live interpretation if you need that as well. And then have lots of examples we can show you, Teiko and Allison. Maybe it's even worth bringing up a couple on this call that we can run through so that you can see and visualize what a final product looks like and how we could build something similar for you all. So if that's of interest, Amanda, I don't know what your timing is, but we're certainly happy to share a couple examples. Allison and Sharon can stay on and talk through those.
Oh, sure, certainly.
Okay. But are there other questions before we do that about high level, kind of the model?
No, I think we should go ahead and take a look.
Okay. All right. So Allison, do you want to take over and share a couple examples, and Sharon, feel free to jump in any time with things we might be missing.
Perfect, wonderful. So then I'll go ahead and just screen share. Maybe I can show a few examples of some similar approaches as well as tools that we've used to help partners, you know, kind of get to that outcome, and then happy to show examples of languages as well. So let me go ahead and screen share. Okay. Okay, so you should all be seeing my screen now, hopefully. Okay, hopefully, sorry, I can't. Okay, great. All right, perfect. So this is just an example of a partner who has used the platform to cater to a lot of different audiences and spaces while still wanting to provide a community for them to come together. So they have in this platform a space to host workshops, professional development workshops, cohorts of learners that are going through kind of a leadership or a learning journey, in addition to a separate webinar series, and ultimately a convening space or kind of like a community space for them to then, across all these different instances, still be able to come together regardless of if they are attending, if there are participants in the leadership global cohort or a participant in the India workshop as well. And so just to give you a sense, this is kind of what can be described as kind of the home page of the platform. And then to just go a layer deeper, thinking about how content can be illustrated, for example, in the platform such as this, right? Being creative in how to break up content in a modular format, provide resources, embedding PowerPoints, PDFs, I'm gonna pause that, and recordings as well. And as I mentioned earlier, right, this is all easily interactive for those that are adding content, as easy as just clicking the plus sign, add content, and selecting, are you going to upload a video? Are you going to add text? Are you going to upload an image? And then just, selecting that document from your computer to upload as well. Additionally, some other features of the platform include being able to support webinars, which if I remember correctly, is a hope of this potential program. And so integrating, with the, I'm gonna pause this again, I'm gonna start integrating with the platform, right? You see chats here, links are able to be shared by those that are watching the webinar, as well as a description of the event itself, being able to embed surveys and polls and the like. And what's really nice about the platform as well is that it works and is optimized for low bandwidth environments. So typically a website kind of refreshes regularly in the background. However, the TechChange platform loads once, either on a mobile device, on a tablet, on your computer. And so those in low bandwidth environments aren't facing as many difficulties to access resources that would be housed in the platform as, say, perhaps an alternative resource. So this is just a sample, a taste of one of the many features of the platform as well. Maybe I'll just showcase one other that's pretty popular, is our use of discussion threads. So being able to provide a forum or a space for participants to consult one another, even consult experts, and and ask the expert, asynchronous forum, and have the opportunity to to tag and respond to those that are interested in various responses and topics as well. And so these discussion threads are great for asynchronously connecting communities, while other places of the platform, such as this chat box, for example, or the webinars capabilities, provide a little bit more of that live synchronous connection that's been very popular these last couple months, if you will. All of this can be captured in thinking about data and reporting. In TechChange likes to use Metabase to create these custom dashboards and custom queries depending on the types of data and the questions that you might have surrounding enrollment, engagement, participation, and the like. And in order to create all of this, oftentimes what we do is create and facilitate ideation planning workshops, and really help partners kind of think through what is their wireframe, how do they want to then be able to create the space, segment their courses and their events, but still making it accessible to everyone in a easy to follow format, regardless of their user type, for example, as well. So I'm gonna pause there. I know that might have been a little bit overwhelming, a lot of different things thrown at you at once, but what questions might you have from everything that I've shown so far?
I don't know if I have questions. Maybe it's because it was too much. I don't know. I was like, wireframes? Okay. So oh, I see Samuel's got a question. I always want to let other people go with their questions first. Please, Samuel, go ahead.
Yes, thanks so much for the presentation. Indeed, very good presentation and quite a lot to offer.
Samuel,
so
can you talk more into the microphone? I think you sound really quiet. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, you can hear me now?
Good enough. Now we can't hear you.
How about now? You can hear me?
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry about that. Yeah, my microphone must have a problem. So thanks so much for the presentation. Indeed, quite a lot to learn from the presentation. I had one question in terms of the terms for the using of the platforms. How is it? Is it you subscribe to it annually or you own it? I'm not so sure. And then I would like to actually integrate whichever platform we either develop or we get together with our website. Is this platform able to integrate with our website? Yeah, so those are my two questions. Thank you.
Yeah, great questions. So first, your first question, I believe, was around kind of what is this package that you would be purchasing or looking at. So each partner kind of gets their own platform, own unique URL that they would essentially own, you know, part of the terms of service is, you know, working with the account manager to make sure to onboard to the platform features and make sure that you're in a good place there. And then, you know, Tech Change provides, you know, technical platform support as well. We have a whole MSA that can get into the details around, you know, terms of service. I believe your second question was integrating with existing websites. And so a popular way that partners have approached this in the past is oftentimes in the top left corner of the platform is your logo. And so that can be a direct portal to your website if you want those to be almost like interchangeable. So, you know, your website has a button that takes you to the platform and the platform has a button that takes you to your website as well. So they're, you know, all like, you know, connected in that sense. Great question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions, and I'm also happy to clarify any of the language that I use. I know I might use it more in my day-to-day. So if there are any questions there, I'm happy to answer those as well. Oh. I think Amanda might have hopped off, but I'm happy to address any other questions. I believe there's also a question surrounding translations. And so happy to pull up an example of how Tech Change has served translations in the past. So the platform does have the ability to, and I'm going to pull up an example in just a moment, have the ability to host several languages. And so some of our courses, they're in French, they're in Spanish, they're in Arabic. And let me just go ahead and pull up one of our latest.
Yeah, and as you do that, Allison, I'll just kind of chime in there a little bit. So there's a few different pieces to how to make multilingual content take shape on the platform. So the first is we can make the platform navigable in the languages that you've requested. So in Spanish or in French. So the navigation is there in the native language. And then there's kind of that next layer of making the static content available in the various languages. And so there we would work with you and take whatever content you want to be placing on the platform and make sure that that is, you know, text translated, or if you're doing videos or webinars, we have a few different options there. We can do simultaneous interpretation, we can do live captioning, lots of different options. You know, some are going to be a little more, you know, a little more budget friendly than others. Interpretation tends to be on the pricey side. Captioning tends to be a little more economical. So we have a few different partners that we work with there. that we can kind of talk to you about the trade-offs of those different options, when we get to that point.
Awesome. And then just to showcase how that might manifest in terms of the platform. So here's an example of a course that is in both English and French in the same space, right? So here you have all the French translated content accessible there. And then, navigating throughout, right, you have the French and the English side by side. Other ways that we've approached courses, and this is just an example of Arabic, right, is, providing the entire course in a single language. So there's a couple different options there and how it could be presented in the platform format. Okay, great. Any other questions? These are great. Keep them coming.
I have a quick question. Hi, this is Will from the communications team. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Great. Just a question about licensing. So let's say that we build this platform with you guys and, it goes on our URL or whatever we want it to be. Is there, for the upkeep of the website or the long-term kind of viability of it, does this get transferred to WRI and then we're responsible for upkeep? Or is there a license basically where we pay you over time for the maintenance of the platform and for continued access to the tech change platform?
Yeah, great question. And so there's a couple different approaches. I'd say probably the most common one is, after the conclusion of the project and the conclusion of the support that's built into the project life cycle, the lifetime, most of our partners then choose to potentially activate kind of like a support avenue where they at about $2K a month, right? They still have all the platform features, everything available to them, updates on features as we roll them out from the tech team, addressing what we've heard from our user community, and access and to an account manager, right, to be able to support and troubleshoot anything that might come up, and also introduce new features as they're released as well.
Great, thanks. So you said it's about a $2,000 a month kind of like charge. Great, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Guys, I think I'm just not full of questions today, which is strange for me because I usually am. So any other kinds of questions or ideas that anybody on the call might want to chat about?
Yeah, I think what we would love to hear if there's any sort of wild ideas or anything that you would kind of envision, in your minds, like, what would be kind of the best expression of where you see this initiative going? Because I think that would also help us to maybe show you a couple of examples that, might come close to that or would be parallel, right? So, so if anyone wants to jump in if anyone is brimming with creativity on this Friday morning / afternoon, I don't know, here in DC it's raining and maybe our creativity is stifled, but I feel like that's just probably us. I'm sure someone on the call has some ideas that you guys might want to share.
No, I think that's a really great question, and sorry about my dogs. I'd want everybody to chime in when they can. They've been barking nonstop ever since midnight last night. I was up every hour trying to get them to stop barking. But
they have something to say. They clearly have something to say.
I know. I pick them outside every hour, and I'm like, "Do you want to pee?" I give them the food. They don't. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. But I would love, I guess at the end of the day, online courses are really cool. Like, I think that's like a basic thing. I like your idea of, having consultation in order to make it really great. I would love it. Essentially, have you guys seen VC for Africa? Love VC for Africa. Or if you're familiar with SCORE, which is in America called, I don't know what it means, but it's like retired mentors who are business mentors here in the United States. but basically some sort of platform. So we kind of got to it a little bit about ask the experts or something, but some way to manage also, and this might be beyond the scope, but in my perfect world, like manage these kind of meetings that people want to have, or these kind of so that people can, and I don't know how tech does this, so I'm just throwing it out there, but so that peers can meet other peers in relevant fields. And so if that's like through profiles and ability to search based on sector or geography, but then also something I've seen happen at VC for Africa. So if you haven't seen their website yet, since you guys do a lot of work in Africa, check them out. They have this thing where entrepreneurs who want to get mentorship can kind of apply for it. It's free. They just submit information. So maybe they use their profile. And I think a lot is done on the back end where they also have mentors apply. So this might not even be a very tech heavy solution. So I'm just sharing it. And then the staff members select and kind of make matches or make introductions, and the people figure out, the two people figure out if they want to continue on together or not. And so it's not particularly tech only, and you automatically get a match. So yeah. Oh, and Will also had a great idea to share as well, which is something that is of a lot of value to our entrepreneurs, is the ability to get displayed. So where I could maybe share with different investors specific companies that I think they'd be interested in, or where anybody, including investors, but any public person, can look at the different companies that we've had go through our program. Like, I probably don't want to put every company on there, but like the really good ones, so that they can reach out to them, talk to them about financing, or interview them for journalism, stuff like that. Thanks, Will. That Will reminded me that I like that feature. Use the dogs.
No problem.
Yeah, those are great. Fantastic. This is awesome. I think we can solve for quite a few of those things. Let's just make sure we're recapping these ideas here, so we don't lose track. So we've got kind of a one-to-one meeting, right? And sort of match up type feature. You were also referencing sort of more of a marketplace or showcase of entrepreneurs where others could come in and kind of take a look and sample the wares, so to speak. And then what am I missing? Goodness, there was one other.
Something about mentorship platform where people request. Yeah, and again, I don't even know if this needs to be high tech or included in this program, because it's something that maybe when we're ready to do, we could do on a Google form. But if it looks better and it can be integrated in the platform, then that could be better. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. So I think first maybe we'll speak to the one-to-one meeting piece. And maybe Allison, I don't know let's see if I can pull this up. So we have the ability built into the TechChange platform for participants to search profiles and to look each other up and to request a one-to-one conversation meeting, and you can do live video chat straight in the platform itself. So any participant can do that with anyone else. That's a feature we can turn on, we can turn it off. Some groups are a little more privacy sensitive and they don't want that to happen. But most leave it on for that very reason, that it's these events are, and these learning convenings are often about how to make those organic connections. Another way to structure that, if we were doing this more in a time-bound way, let me share my screen with you here. Bear with me a second. Okay, no, yes, here we go. Okay, let me share this with you. So we bring in a tool. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect. We have a really great partnership with a group called Social Hour. And so with Social Hour, what we do is this is a really fantastic networking tool. It functions a lot like a kind of a networking lounge. If you've been at an event, if you can remember back to the before times, you'd walk into a room and there would be different tables with different themes. You can kind of walk to the table that makes the most sense for you, that you're interested in, then you can organically kind of move about the tables. What's a little different about this platform, I'm just going to accelerate through this, is that once you're at a table, you can see that there is, you've got these 3 or 4 other people and you're in a live video chat right? So you're in this live video chat, there's you can have contact information display, and you can come, in and out organically. So if you like new talent pipelines, if you want to move to diversity and inclusion, this is very easy, very kind of informal way to kind of make that happen. So I think that's a nice, that's kind of a nice tool to incorporate if we're, doing some type of synchronous convening and really bringing that in intentionally. And we can do a lot with this platform as well. We can do kind of main stages. We can bring people in and out of those small groups, send them in and out. But that can be a really nice way to theme out some of the topics of discussion and allow those connections to be made. And then again, on the data side, we can then export all of the connections that have been made between individuals and send that to them and send it also to you. So you have that record of those relationships. All right. Let's see. Any questions on that?
No, I think that was really cool. Of course, I love some of those social hour or magpie that you showed there. I just looked at some of the branding. Those look like really fun apps. Are those additional costs as well? Like, because maybe it's just integrations and such.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward add-on, but it is an add-on. I don't think we scoped that in the original proposal. If we're just setting it up, it's it's a $5K cost, and then depending on whether you want us to be facilitating, some of the, kind of being there as the technical backstoppers, which we typically do, that might be another $1 to $2K. It depends on how many sessions we're going to be backstopping. So happy to put a little bit more detail around that scope as we think through this. But again, coming back to the kind of the one-to-one, finding a connection within the platform based on those who are already enrolled and part of this cohort, that's all part of the Tech Change platform. So that's not, there's no additional cost to that.
Okay, perfect.
Great. One or two other things to maybe show you all as I know we're probably getting short on time, but let me reshare my screen, because I think one of the things that we've been thinking about with your use case, and feel free to jump in and tell us if we're way off base here, is that we want to be thinking about things that can be activated for collaboration and networking that are synchronous when people are brought together at the same time, but also asynchronously. So how the this kind of cohort relationship can continue even when people are not together at the same time. Did we get that right in terms of the vision for what you're looking to achieve? Ooh, yes, no.
I'm gonna say yes, but I don't know. Okay.
Okay, great. Well, let me just show you one way that we've worked with them. This is the Fondation Botnar. They're based in Geneva, and we did some work with them just very recently. I think, Allison, this wrapped up last week, I believe. Yeah, so this group typically brings, they do a lot of capacity building, and they typically bring partners together to their lovely office here in Geneva. Of course, during this pandemic, that hasn't been possible. And so what they wanted to do was replicate some of the experience of participants from their grantees coming and joining them in their offices and having some more collaborative conversations, but not necessarily when everybody's there at the same time. So what they did was they took some lovely photos of their office space, and they created themed rooms where they set up these, we set up these sticky notes on mural boards and allowed the participants to come in and add questions that they had for Fondation Botnar leadership. Then they could move into other rooms, again, themed by different topics, where they then were asked to, for example, share in their experience what has worked most effectively to engage youth, how could we be more inclusive of youth from different diverse backgrounds, et cetera. And so they really brought together all these different ideas, again, different rooms on this one on data discussion, which took place in one of their boardrooms, and then even their library, and they had a different theme here. So what they did was really allow people to come in at different times, share their ideas, share their questions, kind of get inspired by one another, and then they're able to take all of these resources, which become now resources, which we can capture and we can export, and then they can do quite a bit with this when they come back together in a synchronous way. So this then becomes kind of the fodder for deeper reflection and synthesis when the groups are joining together for those kind of more point in time synchronous periods. So these are things that, again, we can do. This would be scoped in your current agreement. All right, so any other questions there?
No questions from my side. It looks interesting, but I'm thinking for hours we have the Land Accelerator has various people with various educational knowledge. You have farmers that have no formal education, and you have ones that know how to pitch and that have been seen it all and have university degrees. So I hope the solution that you will propose will be able to keep just kind of keep that in mind, that some are tech savvy, some literally have no knowledge of technology, but they are learning like Land Accelerator is the hope for them to teach them from business to technology and about financing and everything. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And I think one of the important parts of the early stages of the engagement with tech change is that ideation workshop that Allison described. And then coming out of that, or maybe going into it, we really want to do a deep dive on who your audience is and what is kind of the common denominator, and what are and really making sure that the experience is intentionally designed to serve maybe a breadth of audiences, and make sure that at a minimum level we're really making this an experience that is accessible to, not just accessible technologically speaking, but also accessible in terms of the cognitive load, right? Like that might have seemed really overwhelming to see all of those sticky notes on a wall. And if that's the case, then we can totally think through what the activities would look like that don't produce that effect, right? So it really it comes back to who are your users and what are your objectives, and working through making sure that those things jive. I have one more thing to show you all, and this relates to the kind of the showcase idea. We have a few different ways to do this, but I'm going to show you a couple that came to mind. I hope you're seeing my screen again. I keep toggling it on and off. So far, Teams is being fairly cooperative. Good. Just the thumbs up from Amanda. I can only see you right now. Okay, good. Great. All right. So this comes from maybe some of you, I don't know if any of you attended this, but the Society for International Development Washington held its annual conference on the Tech Change platform a couple of weeks ago. They did an ideas library. So this is, again, kind of leveraging that discussion forum. So you can do kind of all sorts of different ways to kind of leverage that. But they also leveraged this for the same kind of tool for almost like an exhibit hall. So try to imagine this is not so much exhibitors, but these are the entrepreneurs. So, you know, here there were, let's see, let's go to each of the different ones. So you could click on, let's say, I don't know, Accenture. And so this brings up a page where we have a video that's, in this case, was supplied by Accenture, and has more details about how you can get in touch, more details on you know, contact information, but then also it really allows for some back and forth conversation. So this is built on that discussion thread backbone. So there can be lots of nice organic exchanges that happen here right on that page. So that's one way that we can do that. I'd say this group, they went pretty heavy into the exploratory let's say tech space, because they also, nope, where did I go? I'm lost. Hold on. Innovation Showcase. There we go. So they decided to build out a 3D world. This is pretty cool. This is a little bandwidth intensive, so it may not be for every audience, but I'll just show it to you in case. So in this case, they had a few different innovations that were featured in this event as a learning event, and they wanted the audience to kind of vote on which was best in show. And so here we used a tool called Mozilla Hubs. It's an open source platform for building 3D experiences. So we built out, you know, replicas of the Kigali Convention Center, the Gates Foundation headquarters, the Gaylord National Hotel, if anyone in DC has been to a conference over there, again, probably a long time ago. And in this case, the atrium of the National Portrait Gallery. So this can be a really fun, it's kind of a whiz-bang feature, but it can be a place for people to come and actually connect with each other, and also just a very beautiful visual virtual space. Obviously, I'm having some issues loading it right now, but it's a lovely way to kind of bring in content in a more in just kind of a different way. So again, this is just to kind of show you these are things that we can do. These are not necessarily things that we have to do, but there's lots of ways to showcase innovations and showcase different parts of your community's expertise. If this does load, I'll share again. Apologies for that. Okay, I see folks have to jump off. Shall we just kind of recap in terms of scope and kind of what you're looking for next, Amanda and team?
Yes, I think, yes. I think that Samuel, me, Teko, and Edna are still here. And so, I mean, next steps is that we're going to have a chat about all this stuff internally. Something that was an idea that Will actually brought up before we left. God, so sorry. My headache is just killing me because the dogs will not stop. God, guys, I can't do this, guys. Somebody else go. Somebody else close. I can't do it. I haven't slept at all, and I'm not a parent, so I'm not used to this kind of stuff.
Don't worry.
We need to talk about it.
Yeah.
My concern is the expense of ongoing and the funding insecurity of the project overall. Spending $25,000 a year to maintain a project that we've spent $100,000 building is a big commitment, and I'm afraid if we don't get money, you know, because we can always figure out ways to do our project on the cheap when we need to, because we can and we have, you know, did a program for Latin America when our funding basically disappeared and it cost almost nothing. So I am concerned about the cost of upkeep of this project, to be very honest with you. I see you guys offer an amazing service. And that's my biggest concern. So we all have to talk about this afterwards, which I think we'll have to have a separate meeting to do that. And clearly we're going to try and get back to you guys fast, because time is of the essence on our end. Our contract needs to be spent by November sometime. I don't know if it's November 1st or November 30th. Those are my inputs. I'm just being completely frank and honest because I don't have bandwidth to be polite right now because the screeching of those dogs is just killing me right now. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Amanda, I can see it. I can feel it in you.
The dogs are just killing me.
I cannot empathize with your dogs, but I've had the kid problem, so totally get that. The sleeplessness it makes you insane, right? Like you just, I can't believe you're holding it together as you have if you haven't slept. I would be in a puddle on the floor. So yeah, I mean, I think just in terms of that concern, which that's a legit concern of like every partner we work with is kind of how do we keep this going past the kind of this point in time. Right now there's 24 months of support built into the existing agreement, so that's in there. So we can think longer term. We can also talk about prepaying a longer thing and having that be part of this, if that's something that you guys are comfortable with. So yeah, I mean, we're open to talking through whatever looks right to you and whatever you can.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know about the 2 years, and that makes a huge difference because that takes off the immediate pressure. Because for me, I was like thinking I need to have a funding source like December 2021, and knowing that that's built in really gives the platform, and probably why you guys do this, a platform to show its success and the people are using it, and so then therefore it could be something that could be better fundraised for. So yeah, I think that really takes care of a lot of that concern. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think you guys made it really clear too early on that you wanted to have data be also a really important part of this. So that part of that, and that's also built into the agreement, into the scope right now. So there's a lot that you will have to be able to speak to your funding sources and showcase what's happened on the platform to really tell that story with numbers as well as some beautiful images. So in terms of what's not scoped that we've heard today that you guys seemed warm about, I think the biggest thing is probably language. So in terms of content, the ability to put content on our platform in multiple languages is there, right? But it's the actual content and the production of that content in multiple languages that's not currently scoped for. So I think to me that was the biggest thing. Allison, was there anything else that jumped out to you that you heard from the team today that isn't currently in scope?
So we've been paying a translator, I don't know if that's the word, interpreter. And the problem that we've been having, of course, is Zoom doesn't have separate audio. So when we go to the Zoom recordings to post them online for folks who want to reference them later, we only have like the English version and not the French. And that kind of stinks. But we've been paying for translations of the slide material that we're doing. So we're getting that into French. Yeah, I can see the way that you guys put the two languages together made a lot of sense. So the headings you had side by side, French and English, and then you put French, English underneath it in separate sections. So that was useful.
Which is very soon. Yeah, it's gonna start working with page. This it works.
Teco, I think you're not muted and you're talking to some other people. But
yeah,
so that was the language one. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. No, so yeah, so I mean, in terms of that, I think we can do it that way. We can do it as a toggle because if you're doing Spanish too, 3 languages displayed that way might be a lot. So it would just be up to again a decision that would come through some of those early design meetings to figure out how we would want to display the languages. And then in terms of the actual content production, so we have there's kind of 2 parts to the production of content. There is the part that is with the interpreter, right? And I'm so glad you used the word interpreter because I almost became an interpreter. I so admire interpreters because I think it's one of the hardest jobs. But yeah, translators are written word and interpreters are the live spoken word. And so interpreters, there's that piece. And so we contract that out. We bring in another firm to do that work. But then on our platform, what we do is we make sure that we've tested, if we're doing it live, we're testing with the interpreters. We have kind of a bunch of back-end things to ensure that interpretation works really, really well. So that's not that we can put that into the scope if we're planning on doing live stuff. If it's just going to be pre-recorded, then that probably makes things a little bit easier. And then again, live interpretation versus captioning. Those are two different price points, and they're two different ways to solve that challenge. So we can talk about the trade-offs of that, kind of now-ish, soon, or we can talk about that a little bit later if you wanted to add to the scope. But I just wanted to put those things out there because there are different ways to solve that problem.
Okay, great. And so let's just see if there's any other final questions from Tico, Edna, or Samuel. So if you guys have other questions while we're finishing up, really just say, oh, excuse me, and we'll let you ask your question. So I think maybe Shireen and Allison, first, thank you. But then second, are there any other points of clarification that you guys wanted to have before ending this call as well?
Well, I think you mentioned a bit about the timeline, Amanda. You were looking to kind of get some additional, have some internal conversations. Maybe just talk us through a little bit more of what you see that timeline looking like, and
sure. So we generally have our meetings on Friday, and I wish we could do it sooner, and maybe we can, but we definitely have Fridays carved out for our weekly meetings between AUDA and WRI teams. So we would be talking about it on this next meeting, the 18th, and then probably making a quicker decision after that. So definitely, I would say we could make a decision by June 30th. I don't know if that gives us enough time, July, August, September, October, 4 months to implement something. I don't know exactly what. And what we've been doing so far with this cohort is we've been having weekly sessions that we're doing live via Zoom and recording them, posting the recordings for people to see. And so that's the content that we've created so far, which could be fine, but there could be a way to kick it up. But we also will probably not be able to complete all the content creation, but maybe you guys, and when we're working with you, we can learn some of the tips and tools of the trade so that we can create more content as the year goes on and add it ourselves. So what do you guys think about content creation and stuff, and the 4-month time frame, and prepaying is also a great way to maybe see about lengthening out a timeline if there's additional work that needs to be done besides in 4 months. We could figure out how to word that in a way that our grants people don't get too upset about it. I'm not sure. So that's some of the comments I had on timeline right now.
Yeah, definitely. So, in terms of content, first of all, 4 months is good. That's a good time frame for us. We typically like to see, depending on the scope and complexity of the project, a solid 10 to 12 week window between when we get a sort of a signed contract and when the first major deliverable is taking place. And the first major deliverable is not the ideation workshop, it's like the thing launching, right? So yeah. So that's definitely within the time frame. I think that what will determine how comfortable that time frame is to understand how much content creation we're talking about. Because if I'm looking at our scope, we've scoped out kind of building out the overall kind of concept. We've built the platform. We've got the support for 24 months. We've got the ideation workshop. We've got content and consultation. But what I don't see in here is like, us helping you produce different work, like different sessions, right? Like these different Zoom sessions that you're talking about. So depending on how many more you would want to do and what kind of treatment you would want on those sessions, like we can do TV studio version, or we can do kind of like pretty basic version. That's how many, and then the level of production would kind of determine, again, any change to this scope, and also just how comfortably that would fit in 4 months. I'm guessing it would be still fine, but in the 4 months, but it would depend a little bit on again, how many.
I would wonder, so if we got like a baseline of a course, right? What happens, because we're always coming up with new webinars all the time in response to people's questions or in response to new ideas that are coming out. What happens when we are having a new webinar? Can we add that to our course? Can we, what do you guys think? I mean, so I'm thinking, so here's what I'm thinking, like, there can be different kinds of videos that we're putting online for content. And, maybe some of them are really, curated with slides, and they have what do you call it? A series to them, like, the first one, the second one, the third one, they're like, all related, and take you on a journey. But also, we have different ones that people would, want to see that are just more live recordings, panels that we've done that we would want to maybe group thematically, but not really so much have it as a course, but more as a resource.
Yeah, great. I think Allison, do you want to jump in here, because you've had great.
No, that's a great question, a great point. Oftentimes, webinars offerings is something that kind of runs the spectrum of partners want to, take full ownership and kind of implement that themselves, or if they want tech change to backstop every single webinar. Kind of like the marriage of those two looks like, maybe tech change, does the first couple and then is kind of like a gradual release, kind of using that as an opportunity to onboard those that would, then own that webinar series or those webinars events. And as we're doing the next couple webinars, it's like, oh, maybe a trade-off in the types of support positions where tech change is not pressing the go button, but someone from WRI is pressing the go button and tech change is there just to jump in if needed. So we've kind of done those three of the partner has full ownership, tech change has full ownership, or tech change kind of leads the way and then provides a nice little pathway for the partner to build capacity and being able to execute for themselves as well.
Okay, yeah, because we're a living community and always going to be doing new live stuff all the time.
So yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think that it's 16 minutes over and folks probably have to move. I think it's late in Africa and stuff like that. So I'm done with questions. I'm not asking anymore. But does anybody else have any closing topics? So I think that we'll have to say thank you then, and we'll be chatting about this on the 18th, if not through email amongst ourselves before then. And then the reason I just say till the end of the month to send out a decision is just for logistical reasons. We have like contracting stuff, so I don't want to underpromise. I do want to underpromise, overdeliver. So we are also actively working to get that done so that we can get moving and have more time to execute as well.
Perfect. Okay, great. Well, we'll on our side, we've got some good notes, and we'll also share with you, just kind of what we've interpreted from
that's awesome.
Changes. Yeah.
Thank you.
And kind of say what we might recommend at this stage, but then we're totally open, Amanda, if between you, Samuel, and others, if you want to hop on another call between now and your next Friday meeting, so we can get real clarity, and you say, no, we you totally screwed this up, tech change, like give us this thing instead, we can do that. But I think we're pretty clear right now as to what would make this work and allow it to be that living, breathing community that you're talking about, while also giving you that kind of handoff support that will set you up well.
I really thank you guys for this meeting and for your flexibility and the timing and the additional time that you spent with us, even on top of that. So thank you guys so much. And also thanks to Samuel, Edna, Teko, who stuck through. Our other colleagues were joining us and they're not on our core team. So we were really glad that they got to see a lot of your presentation as well. But the folks who are still on the call represent our core team. So we're really glad we get to see everything that you had to offer. And would anybody else like to say a farewell message? Samuel, Edna, Teco, feel free to unmute yourself. If we don't get you in 5 seconds, then we'll say farewell. Look forward to your email from.
Nothing from our side.
Ah, yes. Okay, thank you, Teco. Uh-huh.
Thanks so much, Amanda, also for taking lead. We appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
Yes, now I'm going to be running outside with my dogs, and I don't even think it's going to help, but thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Amanda. Get some rest.
Okay, thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.